So coming on to interpersonal relations. Basically, what is interpersonal relations is something is like a relation between you and you. There are different levels of interpersonal relations. With your wife it is different, with your child it is different, with your friend, even between friends it is different. And you have to maintain it to that level and keep it to that level. Because you should be understood correctly in a relation. And that only happens if you treat that relation correctly. If you see that relation in that same perspective. And it has to be reciprocal. I am good to you, you are good to me. So if the person in front is good and caring to me, why should I be hating him or why should I shun him? I should also extend my hand of greetings to that person and share common goals and common objectives. These are some forms of interpersonal relations. So like I said, friend, professional relation, love, marriage, platonic, casual, brother, sister, acquaintance, different levels and on and on. So for an individual, interpersonal relation makes you grow personally, you enjoy your day. Does your day be good? No. So to make a day, your relations, all the relations of that day is good and you feel a sense of security that there are good people around me, I have friends around me. I know a lot of people, I can get to do a lot of things if I know. Look at that means interpersonal relations are good. He knows people from starting from the topmost politician or the local eminent with the lowermost person around in the family. That means he maintain good relations. Not by giving bribes, but by his demeanor, his mannerism, his courtesies. And then your context of understanding the world, understanding people around you. And this in turn maybe decreases your needs because they are fulfilled by others through the relations. You don't have to run around for everything. And you identify yourself as an individual. Yes, as a leader, I have used the word manager because even a manager is a leader. So that person understands himself, understands his team, improves the relation between his team with other teams. And for that kind of a leader, problem solving is easy because decisions are taken fast because the team gives him half the solutions. So communication is the key and communication is the lifeline of any relation. If I cannot communicate with you, then how do our relations go on? Like nowadays, interpersonal relationships, divorces are happening. Like we are all discussing here. At Katash, husband and WhatsApp bolche, ete khalo, ete bhalo. And turn around and speak. So that is the reason. And if you want to say something, just say it. Think that you are not hurting the person and say it. So if you have said something, it is said, and the balance with little tact, yeah, you are a diplomatic speaker. So you must think and talk. And half the time, what happens? We think, hey, wo to bujhega acha. Because bujhao. Make that person understand, talk, give him or her your points so that it can be understood. And all work is teamwork, and they can only be through relations. And relations are of few types like empathy. What is empathy? Like somebody mentioned, put yourself in the other person's shoes to feel that other man's pain. Then only, because people are there's some problem with him. Think about his social status, about his financial status, about his relation. And I'm sure if you think like him, you will be able to solve that person's problem. And when you are thinking like the other, you are automatically evolving a new you and coming out in a different form with a different identity. So when you are communicating in your relation or your relation, be assertive. Assertive to that level that you make the person understand what you want and understand correctly and not hurting the person. So assertive communicators are basically who are open to their feelings, not anxious, can deal with stressful situations, are contentious, are not intimidated by others and cannot be persuaded. So you must try to develop a little assertivity in you so that people listen to you. In a relation, you have to pull the wagon so that people follow you, and for that the strings have to be in your hand, and that string is basically the string of assertiveness. For that again we are going to values. Your values, your decisions, your things have to be correct, they have to be positive. And in your team, if somebody says something or your superior says something which is not doable or cannot be done, stand up and say, so no sir, my team cannot do it at this moment of time. Like, I'll give you a small example. 62, why we lost? It is not because of political decision. It is not because of lack of weapons and ammunition. 62, I'm talking about 62 Indo-China War. It was because at that time, Chief of Army Staff, please read who was it, he was told to go into battle, take up defenses. He did not have the spine to say, sir, this is not the time, let us look for another time, another place, and you garner support. But in 71, what happened? Manekshaw stood up to Indira Gandhi in the month of August when he was called to go into Bangladesh, East Pakistan at that time. She said, Chief, get ready for war and go ahead. She said, he mentioned this, and it was a daring of that to call the Prime Minister Sweetie at that time. He said, Sweetie, I am not ready. If you want my resignation, it is there. You can take my army and go ahead. And mature of that lady, she understood. She dismissed the cabinet, called him, gave the pros and cons, because ওই সময় এইদিকে বৃষ্টি হয়, tanks would have got bogged up, the passes were open, Chinese would have come in, and God bless the Indian army. Bangladesh wouldn't have been there. But on the 17th of December, 3rd of December to be more correct, time is correct, battle's done, and Bangladesh is here after 14 days of war. So, you have to be assertive and correct. So these are some 100 exercises to know whom you like, not like, and try to change those people whom you don't like also to a better liking, and basically analyze any interpersonal relation in how people think it is, what people said, and let that ego go in a relation so that it is more amicable. And egos are basically in any relation are of three types. One is the parent, adult, and child. So parent ego is one which is always trying to nurture you, guide you, feed you, and take on. This is a person with a parent ego, what it looks like. Generally, not necessary that by looking at somebody you can say that, but this is generally the body language of a person who has a parent ego. Adult ego is one which people should try to imbibe, and this is more mature because it is more balanced. And you think rationally in this case. And when you are thinking more balanced, you are more prone to make the decisions in a correct way. And child ego is he has not grown up with age. You are primitive, impulsive, demanding, yes, and also creative and more revolutionary. So, child ego person is generally on a happy train. But every time you cannot be on a train which is happy because there are serious moments of life. And then transaction, what I was talking about, which is complementing is, what is the time? Correct thing is, say the time. Others, bango de, jawab denge. These are called cross transactions or ulterior transactions or motivated transactions. I have asked for the time, you baka jawab de. Your boss will generally tend to give this cross transactions and ulterior hata jawab de. Then, responses in a relation basically also make the relation grow. Because praise, compliment, appreciation, good, positive responses in any relation, mainly between a student and parent, son, daughter, or husband, wife, or even your boss and the employee. Negative responses, positive and not good for the relation, not going to make any improvements. I am okay, chalta hai yaar. We will not be able to do it. I wish I could do it, but you are not telling me. But the final, what you want to be, that if I am okay, you are also okay. If I am okay, you are okay, I am okay, and we both can do it and do it together to make it successful. So that is what our relation should move towards. Success, to make and progress towards a goal. And main funda of a relation is power of listening. Again, a bad habit in me. Before your question finishes, I start answering. So, power of silence has got a lot of facets. যখন ঝগড়া হচ্ছে চুপচাপ শোনো, হেঁটে চলে যাও. Power of silence. When you are talking, let me be silent. Listen to your question, listen to your problem, analyze it, think about it, then give your answer, give your decision. Biggest problem is that we don't listen to each other. We listen to talk, we don't listen to understand. That is where we go wrong. Let me hear this gentleman's question. Take a second in my mind to understand and then reply. So, active listening in a relation, basically, be intent, absorb what he says, understand the verbal encourages or the verbal cycles, and then loop into it to think. So, basically, listen, question your mind on the question, and reflect, paraphrase it, and then give your answer. So step one, listen. Listen to the person talking. Give him courage that his question is correct. Let the questioner feel that you are listening. When you have gathered the question or the information, think about it, and then reflect and give out the answers or the decision. So that is the art of listening. Now, all this has some barriers. Sometimes you are not able to speak out in a relation because of personal reasons, socio-cultural reasons, situation. Like in case of these barriers, কখনো কখনো যদি বাচ্চা বাবা মার সামনে কথা বলে, আমরা বলি ছোটি মুখ বড়ি বাত কেন বলছে বলে বকে দেয়। So the child or the subordinate is not able to speak up. Culture, বৌমা যদি একটা শাশুড়ির সামনে বলতে লাগে, it will be thought to be arrogance বা অভদ্রতা. So she doesn't speak up at times. Situation may be such that you don't speak up, maybe n number of situations. Time chilo na ba apnar buddhite to kono muhurte strike. So that may be due to the reasons why it may spoil a relation or even better. And a relation can be sustained with compatibility, caring, commitment, compromise, and constructive disagreement. Compromise here is somebody has to compromise. If both race towards the same goal, you are bent to collide and injure yourself. So better not do that. And if you are disagreeing to a point, let it be constructive so that it is for the betterment of people and people benefit. The two people who are having a disagreement, they benefit from. Like all these diplomacies that happen between countries, it is constructive disagreement. That is why they agree to certain points, which is halfway good for me, halfway good for the other country, middle. That is what is international relations and that is what is diplomacy.